All right, welcome back. Today we're going to dive into a database feature that was literally born from the world of national security. We're talking about a tool so powerful it can decide who sees what, right down to a single row of data.
So let's set the stage a little bit. For most businesses, security means putting a big, heavy lock on the front door of their database. It's all about keeping the wrong people out. But what happens if the real danger isn't just about who gets in, but what they can see once they're already inside? And that brings us to this one, super important word, classification. This was the exact challenge Oracle was trying to solve. It's not about who has a key to the building. It's about what specific documents they're allowed to look at once they're in.
So why was this such a big deal? What was the problem that needed such a specialized, almost surgical solution? Why did that traditional all-or-nothing access just completely fall apart in these high-stakes situations?
This was the question, right here. How do you manage who sees what when all the information lives in the exact same place? Just imagine a single database table full of intelligence reports. How do you set it up so one analyst can see 5 reports, but the analyst sitting right next to them can only see 2 of them? And you have to do it without making a bunch of copies or writing crazy complex code.
Yeah, we're not just talking about your average company. We're talking about sectors where a data leak isn't just an embarrassing headline, it could be a full-blown national security crisis. For these organizations, the whole principle of need to know isn't just a guideline, it's an absolute rule, and their technology had to enforce it.
So, in the early 2000s, with the release of Oracle 9i, Oracle rolled out this incredibly powerful and really elegant answer. And the key was, they built it right into the very core of the database engine itself.
The idea was basically to treat each row of data like it was a physical, classified document. You know how a paper file might get a big red stamp that says confidential or top secret? Well, they made it so you could do the exact same thing to every single row in a database table. Each one gets its own security tag.
And this right here shows you the huge difference. Standard security, that's like giving someone a key to the entire office building. Once they're in, they're in. But Oracle Label Security, that's like giving them a key that only opens very specific, authorized filing cabinets inside that building. It's a complete shift in thinking, from this blunt, coarse control to something incredibly fine-grained.
Okay, so how does this all actually work under the hood? The real genius here is just how simple and transparent it is for the end user.
It really just boils down to this incredibly powerful 3-step logic. The administrator sets up the labels, like secret. Then they give users a clearance level, and that's it. The database handles everything else. Every single time a user runs a query, the database, behind the scenes, automatically adds a little check that asks, hey, does this user have the right clearance for this specific row's label?
Now, what's really cool is how they did this. It's built on a technology called Oracle's Virtual Private Database, or VPD. That's a fancy way of saying it automatically sticks these security filters onto every query. This means all the security is happening deep inside the database kernel, so you don't have to rewrite your applications to use it. And that last point, that's the real magic. To a user who only has secret clearance, the top secret rows, well, they just don't exist. They don't get an access denied error. The data is just gone from their reality.
Now, this wasn't some feature they just released and then forgot about. No way. Label security evolved in a big way over the years, and it really mirrored how enterprise IT was changing too.
You can actually see the whole journey right here. It starts out with Oracle 9i, and it's aimed squarely at government and defense. But then watch what happens as we get to 10G and beyond. Its use just explodes. So why did that happen? Well, because as tough regulations like HIPAA for healthcare and Sarbanes-Oxley for finance came along, the regular business world suddenly realized they had the exact same need-to-know problem. And guess what? Oracle already had the perfect solution sitting on the shelf.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What was the ultimate impact of bringing this kind of defense-grade capability out into the wider world? What's the legacy it left behind?
The really crucial thing to understand is that this feature wasn't just a cool piece of tech. It was a massive strategic move. It was the key that unlocked the doors to the highest levels of government. It completely cemented Oracle's reputation as the database you used when security was absolutely, positively non-negotiable. And this quote just perfectly captures its legacy. It wasn't for everybody, that's for sure. But by embedding the idea of classification right into the data itself, Oracle created this indispensable tool that solved a huge problem that many industries didn't even know they had, right up until the moment they absolutely had to solve it.